Hey, what's going on, movie lovers? I'm Jeff,
I am Kyle, I think.
and we are Shut Up, I Like This.
Question mark? We just read whatever's on the non-existent teleprompter behind us.
Anchorman.
Yeah.
I'm... blah, blah, blah. I gave you guys a little hint on Facebook and Twitter about what we were talking about, because I don't think we mentioned it last week.
I don't know if we did. It might have been off air. Sometimes we do it on air, sometimes we're off air on what we decide, and I can't remember which.
I don't remember either, but I threw out a little, I said we were doing a Josh Hartnett film, and we had some guesses, and there was somebody right, and we are doing 30 Days of Night.
Ah, awesome. I feel like if you know the show, you could probably guess based on what movies we do. 30 Days of Night.
Yeah. A lot of horror, a lot of...
supernatural
80s action and stuff.
Right.
It's over-the-top action and horror. What else have we done?
Jingle All the Way.
Oh, yeah. So 30 Days a Night.
We did a Disney month.
2000. Yeah, we did. 2007. Real quick, Rotten Tomatoes, of course. Critic score, 51%, which I was actually kind of surprised.
Yeah.
And audience scores at 56, so there's about a 5% difference.
About 50.
Not about. There is a 5% difference between critic and audience. I would put this a little bit higher for me.
I would too. I mean, of course I would. That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah. But I mean, I can
get
like a. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, we're just talking.
No, I know.
It's like we've never podcasted before. All of a sudden,
I don't know.
I can get why about half the audience, though, even though I liked it, would be like, wasn't my cup of tea. Like, that makes sense for me on this one.
Forgot I had ice. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're just going to crunch. That was actually my point.
Oh, great.
Yeah. We'll just awkwardly sit here while Porter eats ice.
You're used to it. I forgot to put ice in there.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. This just feels like a good popcorn flick, like a good summer popcorn movie. And it's kind of... I like this movie particularly because of how it portrays vampires. I think this is kind of my top list of vampire portrayals.
Okay.
It's not too cheesy. It's not too over the top. It's kind of like a gritty, realistic, if you would, vampire.
Yeah. You picked this movie because Ben Foster's in it.
Yeah, definitely one of the reasons.
Don't lie. That's why you picked it.
This is his This is third film we've talked about with him, by the way.
Yeah. What else was he in that we did?
We talked about Pandora. Oh no, not the third one we've done. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. We talked about Pandora when we talked about Punisher. And he's
30 Days of Night. I'm telling you, we need to put that list online of here's our actors. That way you can really see how we fall down this well of I like Ben Foster. I'm going to watch everything that he's in.
Oh, it's hilarious. And Danny Huston, we've had Danny Huston before, and Wonder Woman. There's always that continuation. We can always tie something back to whatever we've done before. So, yeah. So that kind of leads into the cast. Of course, Ben Foster plays the stranger who shows up out of nowhere and does the vampire's deeds during daylight.
Pretty cool.
Which, talking about the portrayal of vampires, I like how they have a peon go out and do prep work for them.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you were immortal, you'd be like, I want to do that shit.
And it's sunny out still.
It's sunny out too. Go find some peon to do it for me. And they just crush his neck and shit.
Oh man.
Yeah.
This
spoilers.
is gory.
Spoilers.
Really good gory film.
Yeah.
Danny Huston, we've had before. Of course, he was in Wonder Woman, playing another bad guy.
He's good at that.
He does really well. He's the lead vampire. Melissa George is somebody that pops up in a lot of these weird films that I like.
Was she in, I didn't look, but I think she was in the Amityville Horror remake with Deadpool.
Reynolds. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie.
I do too.
Chloe Grace Moretz, we've talked about.
Yeah.
She's the little girl in that. It's crazy.
Oh, I wanted to go back one really quick on the cast. The one guy, what's his name? He was in Stryker. William Stryker in the X-Men films, right?
Oh yeah, Danny Huston.
Yeah, yep.
Oh yeah.
Not the...
Origins.
Yes, the timeline gets confusing. Not the original, but the Origins timeline.
Yeah, Origins. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's what I always recognize him from, is Stryker from the X-Men
It's always the dub movies. Oh yeah. Remember X-Men Origins? Yeah, Danny Huston is in... He's Stryker. Mm-hmm. Huh. Mark Boone Jr. I love. He's big, grizzly.
Which one was him? Was he the guy from...
That guy.
Yeah. He was in one of the Batman movies,
Batman
too, right?
Begins. Yep.
Was he the one that they put the rat under the bucket?
Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious.
Was that Fast and the Furious?
Too Fast, Too Furious.
I thought that was Batman.
Oh, no. But he's in Batman. He's in Batman Begins.
No shit? You're blowing my mind right now, really?
He puts and Cole Hauser blowtorches it.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah, that's Mark Boone.
No, you're fucking with me. That was Batman.
No, that's Too Fast, Too Furious.
Well, then who the hell is he playing Batman?
He's like the mob boss for Maroni.
Wow.
His name is.
My total wires got crossed. I thought that...
For Tom Wilkinson's character. He's
that's
the underling. Yeah, don't believe me. Look it up. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Here he is, Batman Begins. Yeah, Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah, it's right there on his profile. Yeah. Wow. I thought that the bucket scene with the rat was in the fucking Batman.
No.
You got to admit, that sounds like that would fit right in with the Christopher Nolan.
Sure, yeah, Too Fast, Too Furious.
That's cool. Well, I like him.
Yeah, he's like you got right there. He's in a bunch of great stuff. Memento, 30 Days a Night we're talking about, Too Fast, Too Furious. And he's one of these guys that always pops up and you go, oh, it's that guy. I think recently he was in that motorcycle show. FX, Sons of Anarchy.
With Hellboy.
Yes.
Ron Perlman.
Yes.
We can tie this all together.
Yes, exactly.
Have we done a Ron Perlman
I don't think so.
movie? We need to. I'm a really big Ron Perlman fan.
He's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
We could do Blade 2.
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah, because you cheated on me and did Blade 1 without me.
Oh, yeah.
You dick.
Blade 2. And, yeah.
Blade Trinity 2. With Deadpool, right?
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a double feature.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
I like Blade Trinity.
Sue
me.
I do too.
I think it's a fine film. I don't care. And I love Patton Oswalt's stories. He talks about like how big of a dick that Wesley Snipes was on set.
Yeah, that's kind of why I like Wesley Snipes. Funny. I don't know.
He signs everything Blade.
I would too.
Just awesome.
Yeah.
Another
vampire movie.
Keep on going. Yes.
Yeah.
Keep it on the list. Manu Bennett. I love Manu Bennett. This was before his kind of his big break was being Deathstroke on Arrow.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't seen the Arrow TV show. I'm behind on that one.
At least the first 2 seasons are phenomenal. It's all good, but the first 2 are super great. But
looks
about
like he
the
was in...
same year, yeah, he's the orc guy in Hobbit.
The Marine with John Cena.
He was in that,
which is actually pretty good.
He was in that. Patrick Wilson and yeah, but he's in a film about this time with Steve Austin, The Condemned.
I've seen The Condemned. I thought The Condemned was pretty good too.
He's in that. Yeah. So this was kind of, I think, I would say his big break was Arrow, because then he ended up in the Hobbit films, and he's got a bunch of great titles. So Manu Bennett's fantastic. And then last but not the least is Josh Hartnett. I'm kind of a secret big Josh Hartnett fan.
Yeah, when I was watching this movie, I miss him as an actor. He doesn't really do anything anymore, does he?
Okay, yeah, this is kind of what I wanted to talk about. Because, Sin City, Lucky Number 11, 30 Days a Night, Faculty.
He's good.
Hollywood Homicide. He had this string between 1999 and 2008 of just he's destined to be big things. And then I don't know. I didn't really look into it, but then he kind of just did some smaller parts and stuff. But more recently, he's been doing a lot more stuff, a lot of indie stuff, a lot of films. But I guess there's this big show that I want to watch now called Penny Dreadful.
Okay,
I've heard of
that.
Like a sadistic take on a fairy tale kind of thing.
He's in it?
He's the guy. He's one of the main guys. I think it was on Stars or something.
Okay.
So now I want to watch Penny Dreadful because of Josh Hartnett. And that was from I want to say 14 to 16, 2014, 2016.
A couple years ago now. But...
Yeah. But he's got a bunch of stuff coming up now. There's a bunch of stuff slated.
That's good because when watching this movie, I was like, man, I enjoyed him as an actor. And he kind of went on a little vacation there for a bit. And that's cool. Everyone's got a right to do.
And it's like, yeah, he did, but the same, like he was still working, but just not Hollywood
high profile.
Yeah, like big titles. He was still doing like indie stuff and smaller roles, but it's like he just didn't want to be the leading man. And I think I wrote down, I don't know what that says. I think it says John in the slate is something. Oh, ton. I don't know what it says, but it's like his next big thing that he's doing.
Cool.
So looking forward to seeing more Josh Hartnett. Have you seen? I assume you've seen The Faculty.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
That was what, 99?
90, yeah, I think so. 99.
Yeah, 99, yeah.
That's a fantastic film, and that's the first time I remember seeing Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, same here.
So those are kind of the main core that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, there was another guy really quick I got pulled up before we forget. Did you watch Ash vs. Evil Dead?
No, I saw it.
Show. I'm a big Evil Dead.
I know, I really
big
want
Evil
to.
Dead.
It was on HBO, wasn't it? No.
It was on Stars.
Stars,
which,
yeah.
Which kind of hurt it because exactly no one has Stars because no one pays for it, and that's part of the reason why I ended up getting canceled. That sucks.
Well, that's a bummer.
Anyway, one of the actors, one of the main bad guys, and I think he came about in season 2. Character's name was Ball. He was one of the big bad guys in the film. Was played by Joel Tobeck, who is also in 30 Days of Night.
Right on.
Yeah.
He's the main bad guy in Ash vs. Evil Dead?
Yeah, season 2 he gets introduced. There's like a couple big bads in the series, and he's like he's one of the demons that Ash conjures with the book, and that's him.
Really? And he's a vampire in this? Or was he in this?
Yeah, he was in this one. He played, what, Doug Hertz? I think he was one of the townspeople.
Okay.
In this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool. Joel. That's the name that sounds familiar.
This is one of those things where at the time you don't know who the hell that is, but then he gets cast in Evil Dead. Ash vs. Evil Dead, and then, you recognize him, and so when you go back and you watch a movie like 30 Days a Night, suddenly you know who he is when you didn't before,
right.
And you're like, that's cool. You get excited for that, and that's why I like going back and watching older movies.
Kind of jumping ahead to like first experience. First time I saw this was the DVD release at Movie Gallery. It was one that I bought when I was underage.
Yeah.
Because I knew people, but I had this movie as an MP4 on an MP4 player.
What in the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, but I remember like I couldn't have an iPod because I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
But I had like a knockoff Sony version of an iPod.
Yeah.
And it was like a rectangle and it had the little screen and stuff. And I had the MP4 version of 30 Days of Night on there. And like at track, because anybody who's been in track, like you run your event and then you wait an hour and then do your next event. I would sit there on this little fucking 2x1 inch screen and I watched 30 Days a Night. Why?
That's cool.
I don't know how I had
random.
it. I don't know why I don't know, but I had it as an MP4 in 2007.
I love weird ass stories like that. Like, that's cool.
I wish I had an iPod, but
yeah.
No.
Do you remember for a really short time when they tried to sell movies on USB drives? You could go to
Vaguely.
You could go to Walmart and you could buy a movie on USB. Because I remember Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was like their maybe one and only big attempt at like, we're gonna put this movie on a USB drive.
I would download movies as like an AVI.
Yeah.
And then I put it on a flash drive and plug it in my Xbox.
Oh, cool.
Don't do that at home, kids.
Cool.
Yeah, but I don't know how I got the MP. Like I remember, I paid for the MP4 version.
I don't even know
somehow.
how you would. I don't even know how you would
sure
do
there
that.
was some website or something. Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy.
And I wish I could remember what that stupid Sony knockoff was called, because it was like they took the iPod and flipped it sideways and made it black. It was the same thing.
Sounds like Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just rotate it.
Yeah.
I wish I still had it though. It was awesome.
That's pretty cool. My first time watching this movie was at the video store.
Movie gallery.
Surprise. I remember when it came out. I didn't see it in theaters, caught it on DVD. I really liked it. I remember it getting made fun of a little bit when people brought it back.
Why?
Because of the look of the vampires.
That's what I thought was cool.
I know, but people in general.
Well, yeah, fuck general people.
Yeah, just a lot of people saying, the vampires in that movie looked dumb. They looked retarded.
Really?
I'm like, okay.
That's so weird, though. To me,
because I remember we used to give out like free rentals. Oh, if you don't like a movie 5 times a year or whatever, you can return it for a free movie rental.
What? No.
That was a thing. I remember a lot of people doing that for this one. Unfortunately.
So yeah.
Yeah.
They probably just wanted free shit.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a. I
really liked it.
Yeah. But there's something that you brought up that we want to go in depth with. There's a little bit more I want to go in depth with. So before we do that, of course, I want to director-writer real quick. So director David Slade. David Slade's a big TV guy now. He's directed episodes of Breaking Bad, Black Mirror, which I recently got into. Black Mirror's fantastic. American Gods, new with... God damn it, camera's on now, I can't remember. And Hannibal. So he's done a lot of TV stuff now. Mm-hmm. And then writer is Stuart, I want to say Beatty. This sounds like, shut up, I like this stuff. G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I like that.
I honestly, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a shut off your movie. Shut off your movie. Shut off your brain.
Brendan Fraser's in it.
Watch Popcorn uncredited.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I, Frankenstein I haven't seen, but I have.
I, Frankenstein.
Aaron Eckhart.
Is that the one with...
Aaron Eckhart, Two-Face.
What's the one with Harry Potter?
Horns? Or Victor Frankenstein.
Victor Frankenstein.
Where James McAvoy plays Dr. Frankenstein and Harry Potter plays Igor.
Those movies are weird. Like, I haven't seen them.
I have them.
So I don't know. They might be good. We should watch them sometime. But I always thought it was weird that... I,
Frankenstein and Victor Frankenstein were like 2 years apart.
Yeah, and then what was the other one? Like Dracula Untold. Dracula Untold.
I have that one. I never watched it.
People make fun of DC for not knowing what they're doing with shit. But then you look at what Universal was doing, where they had all these kind of weird reboots, unconnected films, and they're like, we're going to do a dark universe. Well, you just did 2 or 3 of these weird films. Like, you weren't thinking about this, 6 months ago?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was always one giant clusterfuck to me. That Wolfman movie.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins.
That one's actually good.
Is that Benicio del Toro?
It is. He plays the...
He plays the Wolfman?
He plays the Wolfman.
Oh, that makes me want to watch it. I remember that was a big thing.
I know.
That was like 2010. That was a while ago, because I was still in school, I think.
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro is Wolfman? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I've got it on DVD.
Oh, I kind of want to watch that.
I probably haven't seen it since 2010.
I kind of want to watch that. Stuart Beatty. And he wrote Collateral.
Oh, okay.
Which is
Schwarzenegger.
That's Collateral Damage.
Collateral Damage. What's Collateral?
Tom Cruise is the bad guy.
He's got Jamie blonde hair.
Yeah, white blonde hair.
Okay.
That's a good movie though.
Yeah, it is.
And then Steve Niles. He wrote the comic. He was, of course, in the writer's room, helping with this. And last but not least, I want to mention producer Sam Raimi.
Oh, what up?
Sam Raimi, he was actually set to... Sam Raimi's awesome.
Yeah,
Sam Raimi was actually set to direct this. And
that would have been badass.
I think I have it more in trivia, so I think we'll get there.
What year did it come out?
2007. So it's Spider-Man 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can defend that movie a little bit if push comes to shove, but we're not here for that.
Nope, we're not. Okay, so...
He needs to do... Real quick, Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
When did we ever get a chance to talk about him? He needs to do more horror. Drag Me to Hell is fantastic, and I absolutely love Drag Me to Hell. I love the pilot episode that he did for Ash vs. Evil Dead, and I'm just saying we need more horror from Sam Raimi.
I will concur.
Tip of the cup.
I will, concur. Okay, so let's get into the film, talking about 30 Days a Night, like we've been talking about.
Vampires. Blah.
Okay, so the first thing that I think we should get into is you asked me a question, and at first I thought it was a really stupid question. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, dummy?
And then I know where you're going.
We started talking about it a little bit, and then you kind of had me up against the wall, and I said, Kyle, I don't know, we'll talk about it tomorrow. So, Kyle, let's talk about it now. They are children vampire in this.
Yes, any movie with kid vampires, I always want to know how this works. Okay.
That's what he said to me, though. It didn't make any sense. How does it work?
How does it work? How do kid vampires work, Jeff? So you're a vampire, you don't age. You stay the same age you are when you get turned into a vampire. When you're a kid, does that mean you stay 8 years old? Like, if you're to get turned at 8 years old, are you an 8-year-old forever? Like, the mental capacity of an 8-year-old? Like, do you stay that way? Or do you age and turn into an adult stuck in an 8-year-old's body?
Right. So, yeah, I thought this would be a good conversation piece.
I don't know.
Because it's interesting, because you can look at it both ways. Because first you could say, when you're turned, you die inside, right? You don't have a heartbeat. Yep. Everything stops. So you could conjectively, if that's a word, say that...
It is now.
Yeah. Say that the brain stops forming. Conjectively. It's a word.
Yeah.
Probably not. You could say that the brain stops as well, like when the heart does.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's been plenty of portrayals of vampires that...
knocking on the door behind us right now.
There have been plenty of portrayals of vampires where, they're old. They've lived millenniums, and they're wiser. So if they're older and wiser, they're learning things. There's a great scene, sorry I'm rambling, in Underworld Evolution, where Marcus, played by fantastic... Camera's on, I can't remember.
Every time.
I know. He was in the Invisible Man in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Love him.
Oh.
He's great.
Does he know?
He's in Blade.
This motion does no one any good.
Tony Curran.
There you go.
He's in Blade 2.
Yeah.
Tony Curran. He plays Marcus, and he is like a scholar. He's like buries himself in books, and he's constantly got scrolls open, and he's constantly reading and learning, which would portray to me that they keep on their brain function and keep learning. So,
however, we're having this fucking nerdy discussion. You could counter and say that that's because they're adults.
Oh, okay, right. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like this is almost on a per movie basis. What was the other vampire movie we did with William Dafoe?
Yeah, Daybreakers.
Daybreakers. That had kid vampires in it, didn't it?
No, she killed herself.
But you were...
Well, what did she say, though? She said, like, she not being... She said she
said something about
not aging.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I don't know. It's interesting to think about, though, isn't it?
Interesting.
Yeah. If you go off media a little bit, what was it? Was it in Skyrim or Oblivion? One of the Elder Scrolls games, where there are vampires in it. You do the Dark Brotherhood quest, and like the leader is a vampire that's a little girl. But in the game, she's their leader because she's eons old and is wise. So I don't know. It goes per property.
So I like you said, I think it kind of goes per property, per writer. If I were to do it,
what would you prefer?
I would say that they could still learn, they could still read, but only at that capacity. So if you're 10, you can still learn and read.
See,
this is the dumbest conversation I've ever had.
See, I kind of think that...
I feel like we're in the lunchroom in middle school.
We are. We're totally in the lunchroom at middle school right now. I think that you have to say that they can continue to grow and learn as an adult, because you don't want a 5-year-old vampire for all of eternity who only is interested in Thomas the Train.
But I mean, that could be an interesting, because you go outside, you show people what they don't want to see.
Yeah.
And you could see this poor girl that was turned and does have to live forever as a 5-year-old. And that would be just at a whole new level of pain and sorrow. And that's kind of the darker version. Which is maybe why in Daybreakers that little girl kills herself.
Yeah, at the very beginning of the film. I don't know. I always think it's interesting. Anytime I look for vampires in a movie and there's like kid vampires, I look for this. I'm like, I want to know how they're going to do it.
I wrote down the kid vampire because when we did Pandorum, you talk about you don't like it when there's kids like that.
Yeah.
The evil dweller thing in Pandorum. I don't like the kid. I remember you talking about the kid. So as soon as I saw the kid, I was like, oh, I wonder how Kyle's going to take this. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's different when they're vampires.
I guess.
So the little girl vampire is something that kind of I want to talk more about with these vampires, is because you kind of either get one vampire or the other in media, which is either they lose all humanity, they're complete savage. You think like Daybreakers when they run out of blood, they turn savage and crazy.
Go way back, like Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Or From Dusk Till Dawn.
Exactly.
Those kind of vampires.
They just turn into creatures and monsters. And then you go to the other side of the spectrum, you think about like Underworld, where they're very civilized.
I like more civilized.
Proper.
That's kind of cool.
And I think this plays with both. Yeah, exactly. Daybreakers has both sides of it.
It does. I thought that's what made that film interesting.
And what I like about 30 Days a Night is it takes both of those sides and puts them together, which is why I really like these vampires. Because these vampires are vicious. They're creatures. They're monsters with their sharp fingernails and teeth. And they're very savage the way that they attack people. But at the same time, they're that very smart and old and wise. And like they know they're like generals. They're playing the field. They send somebody in, burn all the cell phones, cut off communication, burn the one helicopter that they have, get rid of that. It's like they're playing chess. But then when they come in for their strike, they just turn into beasts.
It's like they can unleash the animal instinct at that point.
Exactly. So there's something about these vampires. As soon as you said that about people complaining about it, that's kind of what I wanted to come back to, is because like I think this portrayal of vampires is like super kind of unique and cool.
I enjoyed it because what are they like? They feel old world. They feel like they're from another time period. Like you get the sense from just the way they talk, the way they look, that they're from another time period. And what are they supposed to be? Russian?
You don't know.
You really don't know.
They speak their own vampire language,
which is cool.
Super cool. Yeah, I like. This isn't the first century they've lived in.
Yeah.
You don't know where they're from.
I like the fact that they've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And they know what they're doing. That's interesting to me.
Definitely.
Before we forget and get too far into it, I wanted to mention the setting of the movie, because I'm a big fan of John Carpenter's The Thing. So like I love movies that are set in isolated, snowy environments, and there's not a lot of them. There's not really a lot of movies that scratch that itch. And 30 Days a Night is one of those rare movies that here's a snowy, fucking isolated environment, and vampires deal with it. Like that's cool. I love the setting in this film. I love the isolation aspect. There's no road out. There's no cell phone. There's no easy help.
And borrowed, no one can hear you scream.
Right. We're just a small community, and all we really got is just ourselves.
Yeah.
In this situation.
I like the setting for a completely different reason.
Yeah.
More of a artsy reason, just because
blood on snow is cool.
Oh, I love it.
It is.
It's just so appealing, and they have this. In my favorite scene, they have this phenomenal overhead shot where they're just panning over the city while the attack's going on.
Yeah, I know what scene you're talking about. That was good.
Like GTA 2. You're just looking overhead and you see the blood spilling out, and you see these big pools on the white canvas, and you hear screams and gunfire and smoke and people running, and
it's a good
long scene too.
Yeah, it definitely is.
That's my favorite. Do you have a favorite scene?
Probably that one. I hate to piggyback off from you too much, but
that's a great one.
I think I got to.
Yeah, it's a good scene.
I had an interesting thought during that scene too. I was like, you know, it kind of reminded me of like zombies in that instance, the way that they were going through the town. And looking at Josh Hartnett, I was like, man, if they ever do like Resident Evil 2 turned into a movie, Leon Kennedy, Josh Hartnett.
That's perfect.
That was my casting for it. I'm like, damn.
Oh my god.
Don't you think so?
That. Leon's my favorite character.
Yeah, I loved him.
He shows up in 4 too, doesn't he?
Yeah, 4 is he plays him in 4.
Yeah, you get to control him in 4. Doesn't he just show up in 2?
No, you control him in 2.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
In the PlayStation original and the new remake that came out.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. I'm glad you agree with me.
I love that.
That's cool.
I need to Twitter tweet whatever Josh Hartnett.
Right?
Dude, you're Leon. I'm just thinking about that now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played the soft talk? Have you played the remastered?
Yeah, I haven't yet.
Me either.
I want to.
I was just asking you.
It looks absolutely phenomenal, everything I've seen about it. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I'm also poor at the moment, so I really don't need to spend $60 for a video game when I have a library of 16 games on Steam.
It's tough.
That I've never played, and a whole stack full of other stuff.
Yeah.
Sitting at home. So I'm like, I want you, but you'll be on sale in like 6 months.
If that.
Yeah,
It goes so fast now.
But man, it looks so good from everything I've seen.
Yeah, I want to see it. I have to mention Jack Daniels makes an appearance in this film. There's a great Jack Daniels shot, so I had to mention that. Another great scene that I wanted to talk about. The first, what's their names? The owners of the dogs that get killed, John and whatever.
Oh, I don't know what their names were.
First, they get their dogs. They kill all the sled dogs in town, which is pretty brutal.
I'm glad they didn't really show that.
Kind of the first house that the vampires attack, though, is them, and it's John, John Reese, fucking Terminator, Kyle Reese, John Reese.
Yeah.
Ooh,
cool.
That's stupid. They're just both Reese.
Coleman Reese, that was in Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Why do I remember that?
There's a great shot. The first house that they go to I think is theirs, and they attack them first. They end up outside, and then there's that great shot of her getting pulled underneath the house, and John going to get her. It was very
Evil Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very Evil Dead, and what was I gonna say? It's can't remember what I was going to say, but that shot where she's getting pulled underneath the house and he goes to grab her, he ends up like getting bit and you don't know, and then that comes into play later when Josh goes to pull him out from underneath the house, and then he's starting to turn, which is another thing I want to talk about. I like their turning process in this. I think it's really cool, and it's just a lot of films portray it as you get bit and then it's like, "Rah, I feel the power."
You slowly die and then you wake up and you're a vampire.
And I like this where it's more of like a illness.
Yeah,
you get infected.
Looks like it hurts.
Yeah, which it should. You're transforming into something otherworldly. It should hurt. Yeah. So did you have like another shot that really stood out to you, like getting pulled under the house? There's another shot of the machine thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the machine where the vampire goes.
The muffin monster or whatever it is. Yeah.
There's a really brutal scene towards the end of the film where Josh Hartnett takes a fucking axe to a guy's neck.
Oh yeah, that's John Reese.
Yeah, and he's just like right on camera, like going to town with this thing, and just like, and the guy's like dead, like 3 hits into it, and he just keeps going.
Yeah, gotta separate the head.
And the head's just like, blah, off to one side, and I'm like, Lord, that was violent.
Yeah, and an R film.
Good special effects for it.
Yeah, they let it. There was a couple of head slicings.
Yeah.
Manu Bennett gets his head lopped off.
Yeah.
There's a great line that the vampires say when they go into town, and they talk about separate the heads from the bodies. Don't turn them. Well, I thought that was fucking cool. Just because why, if you had your own little vampire posse, right, and you got
you and me, vampire posse.
I mean, you got enough fucking heads to feed, right?
Yeah,
you don't want to fucking be turning other bitches.
Otherwise, it turns into the William Dafoe Daybreakers scenario.
Yeah, then you run out of blood.
I can never remember the name of it. It's always the William Dafoe vampire movie, and he's not even the main character in it.
No. While I'm on that, though, I think I have some other lines that I want to talk about. Ben Foster, of course, I think kind of the line of the film is they're coming. But the way he says it, and he's a dirty, stingy person.
Oh, yeah.
They're coming.
There's a nice bit of acting from him where they got him, like, handcuffed up, and he thought that they were going to come, they're going to save me, I'm going to be part of them. And Josh Hartnett's, like, talking to him, and Ben Foster's, I don't remember what he says. But
they didn't take me.
They didn't take me, yeah.
Yeah, he's, like, heartbroken.
That was cool.
That was great. Ben Foster's fantastic.
Because, like, in vampire lore, they always prey on the weakest individuals, the people who want the power. So this guy's probably a total fucking loser.
Oh, yeah.
His whole life, you really thought, like, I'm gonna be a vampire. It's gonna be great. Mom! Look what I'm gonna do. And then, nope, they're like, nope, fuck you. And then they snap his neck. When they come back and he thinks that they're gonna... what does he tell him? What does William Stryker tell him? You're gonna... come with us or something, and then he snaps his neck.
Oh,
like that's really cool.
Did he tell him that, or was it in like subtitles?
It was in subtitles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says something to him in subtitles that gets him to like relax, and he thinks that he's gonna be.
Yeah, I can't remember what
gonna be one of us, and then he just reaches up, and because they're really like oddly close to one another too.
Mm-hmm. And doesn't even Ben like turn his neck too? Like turn his head. And then...
Oh, that was a creepy scene. That was a good scene.
And so we already touched on that. This time they're gonna take me with them.
Yeah.
There's a Ben Foster again. He attacks his little brother. He grabs him. That's another great piece of acting where the brother throws the risk. They're playing Risk. He throws the Risk piece at him, and he goes, yeah, good. Piece of plastic I can use to pick the lock.
Yeah.
And then it like creeps him out, and he runs over and he grabs him. Josh Hartnett comes in and fucking shoots the guy. Poof. And he just kind of staggers back. He's like, you shithead.
Yeah, that was funny.
Which is fantastic. I know I have some other quotes. I talked about it already. Separate their heads from their bodies. Don't let them turn. I think all of these lines are from Mark Boone Jr.'s character. He had some great fucking lines.
Yeah.
Just because something stopped Bela Lugosi doesn't mean it can't, or doesn't mean it's gonna stop these things.
I like that too.
Great line.
Do you love or hate when like Walking Dead, zombies don't exist in the Walking Dead universe? Like ever? Yeah. They're not a thing. Do you like that, or do you like it in this movie where they're like vampire lore is a thing? They mention Bela Lugosi.
Well, and in Dusk Till Dawn when he talks about
they give the rundown of are we just going on what we've seen in the movies or whatever they say in that one? Do you have a preference?
I prefer it when they acknowledge it.
Yeah, I prefer it when they acknowledge it too.
I don't know why. It doesn't affect it really. It makes it feel more grounded.
It makes characters be artificially dumb in Walking Dead because if there were zombies, people would, no, you shoot them in the head. And then you have to go through that whole setup. It's like, okay, we know that. You're not telling us as an audience anything we don't already know. We're ultimately getting to the same point.
Right. It's just eating time.
Yeah.
Right. I can see that. A way... I hate talking about Walking Dead because, I don't know.
That's an easy example.
I know, but a way that they could have maybe taken a different route is if zombies did exist, but the way that portrayed the first season was they didn't know they were zombies and didn't act like it was something else or something that they didn't know.
Or you always go the cheap route and you call them the infected, because they were trying to go. They were trying to go to the CDC in the first season anyway. It would have. Yeah. I don't know. That's beside the point. Go.
Okay.
Got more quotes?
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you.
Apparently, this is a quote I wrote. Fuck off! Of Mark Boone Jr. Welcome to Barrow, top of the world, and then he.
Yeah.
I love. He takes the flare and he's got like dynamite, and he says, "You ain't gonna eat me," and then he drops it in there.
Yeah.
I love Mark Boone Jr. This is a great line from Danny Huston to Mark Boone Jr. When he's about ready to blow himself up, or after he does. When a man meets a force he cannot destroy, he destroys himself instead.
That's cool. I don't remember that one.
It's because he can't destroy them, so he blows the whole place up and tries killing himself.
Cool.
But yeah, I thought that was, like, in fucking 30 Days a Night, like, there's this phenomenal line, which kind of...
Yeah, some of that stuff gets buried.
It's fucking cool. And then I think these last two are Eben, which I wanted to mention. I love Eben.
Eben.
So
my name's Eben.
My name's Eben. Eben's, I can't even say it without laughing. Eben's trying to make a distraction. He's run through and he's banging on all the other shit. Come on, motherfuckers! I love motherfuckers. So, come on, motherfuckers. And then a great moment. I want to talk about this moment. My favorite moment of the film. That's my favorite moment, not my favorite scene. Josh Hartnett, I can smell your blood.
Yeah, that was cool.
After he turns himself. So, when this movie came out, it was after Blade 2, and it was after Doom. The way, when I saw this, the first thing I noticed, first he infects himself, he injects himself, becomes stronger, goes to fight the head honcho. In Doom, Karl Urban injects himself, goes to fight.
Okay, that's a good pull.
And then in Blade 2, Blade holds up Nisa during the sunrise because she's a vampire her whole life. She wants to see the sunrise. And there's this great shot where the sun comes up and Blade's holding her and she just kind of Thanoses away.
Yeah.
I like in this film, after he ejects himself and he goes to see the sunrise with his woman, I love it's not Blade where it just kind of crumbles away in dust. Yeah. It's like he's burning to death. He's not crumbling or dust. It's just he becomes Ghost Rider, and that's just black and charcoal and flaky and gross.
Yeah, flaky was the word that I was looking for it too. So it was like I did want to talk about that end scene because that was a powerful scene.
Very good.
Like, you watch that and you're like, what is this doing at the end of 30 Days a Night? Like, that's not to knock the film, but that's a damn good fucking scene we just seen there.
Yeah.
Tucked away at the end of this movie that half the people who watched it probably didn't get to the end of it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's do this. Because there's a lot of great, really good moments, like the end scene where it's like, this doesn't belong here. This is, I came to see a vampire movie and I'm watching a drama now.
You know what the perfect example of that is? Maybe this is the scene you're talking about, where the guy signals them with the flashlight and they run across the street.
Okay, yes.
And the guy had killed his family, and they're like with the covers over top of him in the bed, and he's like, I tried to shoot myself and the gun jammed.
Yeah, that's Manu Bennett. Yeah. He talks about how he heard the screams and he heard the shots, and he didn't want his family to be killed like that.
That was a powerful moment. And
very much so.
Hate to keep making parallels to Walking Dead, but that was like really.
It's misty.
Season 1 when Walking Dead was good. Like, that's like really like season 1 Walking Dead level shit right there. Like, that was a powerful moment.
First season, you see they're wandering around. They find the little house with the old couple in it.
Yeah.
And they used a shotgun and shot themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that shit is like, whoa. Then you like, what is that doing? And
that's like the end of The Mist.
Comic book 30 Days a Night.
That's Thomas Jane killing his kid and everybody.
I love The Mist.
It's probably one of the greatest endings ever. And they took that and they put it in the middle of this film.
Yeah.
And you really feel for Manny Bennett. And before it's exactly like what Eben. It's exactly what Eben says. You never hurt them. You don't do that to your family.
Right.
But at the same time, I hate to be. I know, but it's
what do you do?
It's like it's The Mist. Like, you don't want your family to suffer. You don't want them torn apart by vampires.
Yeah.
I mean, and especially in this kind of situation where 3 people live out of 152.
And then there was that really, right after that scene, there's a really beautiful shot of the 3 of them with him in the middle, like they're running down the street, and it's kind of in slow motion, and you can see the snow falling, and the guy in the, what's his name? The guy in the middle.
Manny Bennett.
He has this look on his face where he's just like screaming. You know do you remember that? And you just get the idea of everything that he just did came to him in that moment of like, holy shit, what did I do?
I thought he was doing it because he's been, at that point it was like, 10 days without food or something?
Yeah, maybe. I went the other way with it. I
like that better. I like the emotional route.
That was what I thought. I thought that he was like him realizing that, what have I done? I have to leave them behind and continue on, and he doesn't want to, and he's just like, the pain. It's a really quick shot. I wish they would have held on it more.
I like that better.
And then it jumps to immediately them like underneath a house or something. It's kind of a bad cut right after. Like, I wish they would have held on it and did a little something with it, because that was a good moment.
Another good moment. We both love the film, of course, but we're just talking about moments that really stick out and are not over dramatic, but really well acted and drama.
Because usually movies like this are very popcorn.
Blade.
Right. Very popcorn. Yeah. And you just don't like, what's this doing?
It's like you don't. And then it's like, fuck, I was here to have a good time, man.
Yeah. This is Josh Hartnett, man. He can choose some scenery.
Anyways, got some angry kids.
Yeah.
Maybe they just saw a vampire.
See, you wouldn't want him to be that age for all of eternity, Jeff.
No, and I talk about this. I've talked about this before on the show, but like I always talk about like apocalypses or zombie or it's like I'd be stuck with them. But they'd weigh me down. I'd have to die saving them.
You'd have to Josh Hartnett this shit to save everyone. You'd have to inject yourself with super serum or vampire blood or whatever.
Yeah. Another great moment that I'll talk about is when he does turn himself. And I mentioned his line, but that whole moment where he injects himself, he looks at them, kind of looks away. And then there's this brief silence where they're just staring at him like, we should kill him now, right? Like, he's going to turn.
Yeah.
And then he stands up, and they just stare at each other for a second. And then the way he delivers the line, like, he's surprised. He's kind of got this, like, he sounds powerful. Like, I can smell your blood. Yeah. Like, he's proud of it almost.
That's cool. That's good.
It's a great line. And it's very cool vampire stuff.
I had wondered, so after he killed the head vampire, could he at that point have been like, I'm your leader now?
You're talking about like Chronicles of Riddick?
Yeah, like could he have done that? Been like, I'm your leader? Like, could he have commanded that group at that point?
I think so.
That kind of would have been. I mean,
there is a part 2.
Do we have to acknowledge there's a part 2?
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen a part 2.
Either.
Didn't we look it up? Wasn't it like terrible? The critic score for it? I have no idea.
What was it? 3 Days a Night?
Electric Boogaloo part. I honestly don't remember what it was. Like 30 Days a Night.
Electric Boogaloo 2.
Dark Days or Dark Night.
Something like that.
Nights. Yeah. I really don't remember what it is, but
it was definitely something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Might check it out.
Probably won't.
And then one last scene that I wanted to mention is they're hiding up in the attic, and they're trying to sleep. The sound of gunshots and screams, first of all, was good audio. It really made your skin crawl, but I wrote down, can you imagine being in the attic, knowing for the moment you're safe. You're like, you've been up, you're hungry, you're tired, you're thirsty, you just want to rest. But you can't, because outside all you hear are screams of people dying, gunshots going off. Like, I just put yourself in that. It's like, ugh, eerie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was waiting to get to this.
Okay.
Because this is me. Eben needs an inhaler.
Yeah.
I have sports-induced asthma. So like when I work out or I run, I have to use it before, so my airways don't kill me. I would be the dumb inhaler asshole who would lose it.
Yeah.
And then I'd be fucked. If it weren't them, it'd be the inhaler.
The inhaler. That's how you're getting it.
I wrote down I'd be a stupid way to die.
Yeah.
While we're talking, I got one more moment I want to mention.
Okay.
Doesn't belong. Well, I mean, it does because it works. But another really strong moment is what's his face? He works at the Muffin Monster or whatever it is, right? He has all the pictures of his
legitimately,
family.
that's the name of that piece of machinery.
Muffin Monster?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
They have one at my dad's plant.
I don't feel like an idiot.
No, that's what they call it.
Guy with the pictures of his family and everything, and Eben keeps asking him, like, oh, when are they going to come up? And you find out later that he's lying. His family's dead.
Oh, yeah.
And then later, when he gets bit or whatever, he says, I'm bit. You better do it before I turn. I'm ready to go be with my family and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody goes, oh, no, wait. And then Eben just goes, he said what he wants. Then he fucking takes him in the other room, closes the door, and all you hear is clunk, clunk, clunk. And then he walks out. What the fuck?
Very Frank Castle of him.
Holy shit, that's some cold-blooded shit.
Right?
As soon as that happened, I'm like, I have to write that down. Eben goes in the other room and axes the guy. He says he said what he wants. Jesus Christ.
It's pretty brutal.
That's some good shit.
Pretty brutal stuff.
But like, what pissed me off is before that, to get there, they had to make a distraction. Eben's like, oh, I'll go make the distraction. That's when he goes, come on, you motherfuckers. Why did the guy who got bit stand up and be like, I'm bit, I'll do the distraction, I'm gonna die anyway? That son of a bitch. That pissed me off, yeah.
That's actually why Josh Hartnett killed him.
Like, you made me fucking run through there, cause a distraction. I almost got killed because of you.
You fucker. That's what he was actually saying to him when he closed the door.
What he wants. Really, what he was saying was like, fuck you. I didn't even have my inhaler.
Yeah. There was another side character I wanted to mention really quick, just because I think it's cool. Not cool. Alzheimer's is not cool, but it's interesting that they chose to have that one of the characters have Alzheimer's.
Because that's real.
It's real, and it wasn't really. It's not a big part of the film. He's just a character in the background. He doesn't really have a story arc that goes anywhere, but that's a nice touch that was put in the film. Like, oh, I noticed that stuff, and I like that.
Because if we were in that shitty situation, then I'd have fucking kids. I would need the inhaler, and then there'd be some guy that was losing his mind.
Right?
It's like, of course, trying to live.
I've always enjoyed movies with a group dynamic as well, too. Bring a group of strangers together and put them in shit and see how they get out of it.
Every movie ever?
Well, not all movies have a
I know what you mean.
Big group of strangers like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting.
It makes for an interesting dynamic. What's that's a Saw movie. They put in it's like Saw 5. They put in all the strangers, but they're all connected somehow, and they have to figure out how before.
That's every Saw movie, but okay. I know. I will give you. You can get a pass on that one.
And then there's two things I want to talk about before we get into trivia. Is after they kill Bo is his name. I like. Okay.
Who's Bo?
Mark Boone Jr.
Okay.
As Bo. Edmund writes him a citation for the leaking oil and stuff.
Sure.
And he just does it because he lives outside of town.
Gotta make sure
makes him feel like he's part of us.
Yeah.
Word. It's like, I got you, homie. But first, I mean,
the snowplow scene.
I love all of Bo's lines and everything. Where he goes out, he's like, okay, now it's my turn, and he goes out and just fucking lays waste to a bunch of them, blows himself up, and then he gets curb stomped to end it all.
Yeah,
that's how he goes out. That's a good effect too.
Yeah, it was.
That fucking skull crush. I wanted to talk about that. The last thing I want to talk about is I do want to talk about that girl vampire.
Okay.
Because that was another pretty crazy scene. They hold up like a 7-year-old girl in the air against the wall and just.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy just to see.
Uh-huh.
Let alone like, does she get smarter? No. Let's talk about how she gets her fucking head chopped off by a group of men who hold her up against a wall.
Yeah, I know. Violence against children is usually not a thing.
Crazy,
not a thing, even if they're zombie kids or vampire kids or whatever. Like, we don't usually do that too much.
Exactly. Anytime any film does that, I always have to. It's like, wow.
Yeah, wow. They went there. Like, they don't.
Like, what if we've watched Face Off? They kill a kid.
Yeah.
We've watched
Punisher.
Punisher. They kill a kid.
Family. Yeah. We've done more. I can't think.
Yeah, I know.
What's weird? What are you trying to say?
I don't know. For a film podcast, we talk about a lot of movies whose kids die.
We do a lot of horror movies. So I guess it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be surprising.
Yep. Wow. What did I write down here real fast? Using another kid. When they use fucking people as bait to lure out the other humans.
Oh.
That's another thing, like smart vampires. And the first time it's a person like our age, like they've had a little bit to live. But the last time, I think her name was Grace. It's like a little fucking kid, and she's all bundled up and just drenched in blood, and she's just walking down like just stone faced. Mm-hmm. Fucking vampires, dude.
Creep me out.
Using another kid drenched in blood as bait. Fucking nuts.
Give them credit. It had some great ideas.
This had a ton of great ideas in it, and it must have come from Steve Niles. Steve
in the comics. I wish I was more familiar with the source material.
Yeah, me too. I haven't seen the.
I googled it a little bit just to see the visual style.
How did it look?
You watch a lot of snow, it's comic. I mean, it's graphic noir comic. You can tell. You're like, oh yeah, I get it. I see what they were going for with the movie.
Yeah, it makes me want to, because I never heard of the comics. I just thought this looked like a cool movie when it came out.
Yeah.
Josh Hartnett was like huge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to go see that, and then you watch it and you're like, holy fuck, that's phenomenal. There's a fucking comic that this is based off of. And so, I mean, it makes me want to watch, for whatever it is, I want to watch the sequel. Like, where else could they take this?
I don't know.
Do they go, like they talked about...
Is it just like next year?
Well, that town got destroyed. I'm sure they're rebuilding and there's not a lot of people going back, but one of the characters mentions, like, next year they'll go to this town, and that town, and that town.
Oh, yeah.
So I wonder if it takes place on one of those towns, or...
Prequel? I don't know.
Right, prequel maybe? I think it's called Dark Days. Now that we're talking about 30 Days a Night, Dark Days.
You know what we haven't really talked about? Somehow we never really set up the premise of the film.
Yeah, we just kind of
assumed. Yeah. Maybe you guys know what the premise is.
We just like talking about the cool shit.
Just the idea that they're in, where are they, Antarctica?
Barrow, Alaska.
Alaska, where the sun sets and it's nighttime for 30 days. How cool of a setting is that for a vampire film? Duh, of course they would be.
Seems pretty obvious.
Because they don't get, like, they got no blood in them. Frostbite and shit's not a thing to a vampire, is it? I don't think so.
No.
So they can walk around in
their skitties
20 below with whatever on. Like, they don't got to worry about...
I like how they're dressed in this film, too.
Yeah.
That's a stupid thing to point out, but, like...
No.
Button-downs, dresses.
That's part of what I was talking about. Part of that, they come from another...
Like a very formal period.
Place, another time. Like, for them, it's not 2007. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was neat.
Yeah. This has a lot of interesting concepts that got shoved into an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Well, is it 2 hours? It might have been 2 hours.
I think it was close to 2.
I think it was close to 2. If this was... I always say it all the time.
The cop-out answer if it was a Netflix series.
That's the way that when you have to condense something with this much content down to an hour and a half, 2 hours, there's so much to touch upon. And you get quite a bit, but it's just like if we could, like their language and what they're, where, and then they transfer back and forth, like they're very formal, they speak to each other, but then they turn into fucking...
I know.
It's like... No, we're animals? Like, what? Like, just... maybe it's in the comics, I don't know.
It probably is. It's probably explained.
It. And there's like 6 people who read the comics that are like, dude, you don't even know.
Don't vote.
There's so much lore. I don't know. It's but for just going in without any knowledge, something just beeped.
The camera?
I don't know. No, it's still recording.
Oh. Nah, now you gotta edit.
Losing my mind. I'll leave it in there. Yeah, I got up. It's my podcast. Below me.
Is it your washer?
Oh, maybe.
Washer piece.
Anyways, for going into this film without...
Spoiler alert, we're in a basement.
It's a studio. Without any background of the comics, without any information, going in and just watching a vampire flick. Phenomenal vampire flick.
I think so too.
And it makes you want to. The fuck, dude? I'm trying to talk.
Sorry.
It makes you want to go and read the comic and find out more.
I think so too.
But for just a movie, anybody can enjoy. Anybody can turn this on and watch. So you got any final thoughts? Anything you want to talk about before we get into trivia?
I think I've touched upon pretty much everything I wanted to do. I liked the skin tone that they had on the lead vampire guy. What's his name? I'm bad with names.
Danny Huston.
Yes. He's got this really cool look in places where it's not just pale. His skin almost looks crystallized. Did you catch that? Mm-mm. It's in a couple close-ups of him. You can tell they spent a lot of time
in the snow?
No, with his makeup. Just the design of his skin. It's in a couple close-ups in the movie. And then when they pull back further, you can tell it's more just general pale makeup. But if you watch it again, look close when they do close-ups of him. The makeup effects on him are really good.
That's something that I looked into, too, because I kind of
was it K&B?
Assumed, right?
I thought with the axe chopping scene, I'm like, this has to be K&B.
Right? Yeah. It wasn't, though. It was all not K&B.
That's cool.
Yeah. It had a laundry list of names of a very large team putting all this together. So, but yeah, that's the first thing I looked at. Cause
nice.
Every film that we've talked about is K&B effects.
Well, if you're going to do effects work,
that's
who you go to.
Might as well call them. So you ready for some trivia?
Yeah, I'm excited for trivia. Leather.
Kyle. In the film, the vampires speak an original language that was created for the film with help from a linguistics professor at a New Zealand university.
Man, that's a lot of work for a dumbass movie. I like the movie, but man, they went to some lengths to...
Yeah. That's
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, it's super cool. This was shot in New Zealand, actually, in 80 days. Kind of a longer shoot, I think. I guess, maybe not. 2 months. A little over.
I don't know.
But yeah, this was shot, and so a lot of New Zealand actors were used.
Okay.
Well, obviously, Manny Bennett is famously New Zealand-ish, whatever you call him. Peter Jackson-ish.
You offended someone somewhere.
Steve Niles originally wrote 30 Days a Night as a film, but it kept getting rejected, and eventually he turned it into a comic.
Oh, cool. So it found its way.
So it did
its way back.
A large loop.
Nice.
This film uses the day for night process. For most of the shots in the film, it's not actually nighttime. It's all shot during the day, and then through post, they nighttime.
That's cool.
And it helps a lot with...
I wouldn't have guessed.
With highlights and stuff, too. You can get a lot better highlights.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
Josh Hartnett did all his own stunts.
Cool.
In this film. According to director David Slade, Sam Raimi was slated to direct, but opted to produce instead. Bummer. But it's still great. Just Sam Raimi, 30 Days a Night could have been pretty cool.
You can imagine being a big Raimi fan. Like, what would he have done with 30 Days a Night? I don't know. Evil Dead and...
More blood.
Loads of exploding blood and chainsaws and Bruce Campbell cameo.
As the head vampire.
Yes! That would have been amazing.
All right. Come here. I need to eat you. Yeah. In the comics, the head vampire, Vincent, goes to Barrow to prevent the vampires in order to preserve secrecy. Which I think is kind of super, like, a neat storyline.
That's neat.
And in the film, they kind of mention... like how we should have came here ages ago and stuff like that. And I think that kind of went with the separate the heads from the bodies, don't turn them, because they're trying to keep, like, what's he say? If we let one out, if we let one survive, we don't want to give them any doubt. That, like, what he's saying is, so we don't want to give them any doubt that we do exist, which is, I thought was a really neat little touch.
Yeah.
The vampires are trying to hide. Ugh. Real snow. All the snow is real. Of course, there are some digital enhancements, but said that the snow is real. And then Mark Boone Jr. was a vampire hunter in John Carpenter's Vampires, and here he is a vampire hunter person. So,
cool.
Mark Boone Jr.
I did not know that.
So there's your trivia for 30 Days of the Night.
Overall, did you like the film? I mean, clearly we're here talking about it. So
no, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think this is one of my favorite iterations of vampires, just because, like I said, you get to see both sides. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Josh Hartnett. I always love Josh Hartnett, and I think Mark Boone Jr. kind of stole the show. Yes, like his character was awesome. Mm-hmm. 30 Days a Night, though, vampire, like, where... I don't know where it ranks on, like, my vampire list.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a vampire list.
I mean, there's way too many. But I really enjoy it.
For me, it's the setting. I really enjoy the setting, the isolation aspect of it. It reminds me of John Carpenter's The Thing.
It's The Thing meets Alien.
Yeah, a little bit. I just love that part of the movie. I'm a big Josh Hartnett fan. I think he's cool. I want to see more from him.
I want to watch Penny Dreadful now.
Yeah, I do too.
Just because it sounds... It's like a creepy fairy tale version, and... Yeah. See some Josh Hart.
He needs to make a comeback.
Him and Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
It'd be an awesome film.
He'd be a good get... We say this for every actor we like, but a good get from Marvel or DC.
That would be awesome.
Bring in Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett. Be awesome. Speaking of which... I'm way behind, but I finally watched Spider-Man Homecoming again, just because the girls and I wanted to watch it. Then we watched Thor Ragnarok, and then I finally watched Infinity War.
Yeah? You enjoy them?
Yeah, they were good.
Good.
Yeah, it was fun. Me and the girls watched it, and then Caitlin came home and sat down and watched Marvel films for 8 hours. So, it was a good snowy day thing.
What can you say about Infinity War that hasn't been said already?
Right? I was pretty good, though. I stayed away from most of the spoilers.
Yeah.
I think the only spoiler that I saw was Spider-Man.
That's pretty tough to.
But I didn't know about Star-Lord being a fucking asshole, and so yeah, I missed out on. I didn't know that it was Bruce Banner in the Ironmonger suit.
Oh, the Hulkbuster.
Or Hulkbuster. Ironmonger is the bad guy in Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
I didn't. Like, I just thought that was Tony. So I avoided most of them, but yeah, it was good. We had fun.
Yeah. So that's good. That's good.
I'm way behind.
We should. So we've got a couple minutes to go here. We should talk really quick about Batman. Ben Affleck officially out in the Matt Reeves solo film. They're going to be doing, it sounds, I don't want to say reboot, but reboot-ish, and the fact that they want to go back and they want another younger actor to play Batman. What has me excited about this movie, and I hope they actually do it, is they talk more about wanting to show the detective side of Batman.
Yeah.
He's the world's greatest detective. We really haven't seen that too much.
The Arkham games is the best thing we get.
The closest we got was Christian Bale building a big clusterfuck of a device where he shoots bullets into the wall in Dark Knight, and then they cut him out and he does ballistics on him or something.
Yeah.
That's like the closest you get.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And then he builds the dumb machine that taps into everyone's phone, which I kind of hated that.
It's fine. Yeah, God, Ben Affleck doing that though could have been special.
It's a bummer. We were both really big fans of him. I wanted to see more of him. That warehouse scene in
we're never gonna get it again, Kyle.
In BBS was
over.
Yep, was super fucking cool. It's a shame we didn't get a full movie of that. But I don't know. We'll see what they do.
I'm not gonna watch it.
You're gonna watch it. You'll be there. You'll be at midnight show.
I know. It's a bummer. But from what it looks like, he's writing and directing something new. He's been writing and working on something.
Well, that's good.
I mean, he's got 2 Oscars for writing, so let him write.
What was the last movie that he...
Live by Night.
Wrote? Live by Night? I was thinking Argo.
Oh, Argo.
Argo.
Live by Night's the newest one.
I haven't seen that one yet.
We should talk about it.
Good?
I like it. It's a good gangster flick. And he's a gangster.
Oh, I know what one you're talking about. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've wanted to. I kind of forgot about it.
I haven't. I've watched it twice.
Yeah, that looks good.
I like it. There's a lot of people that were a little, it's too long,
Yeah, whatever.
I like it. It's a good story, good acting. Ben Affleck, Marion Cotillard, however you say it. I think she's the girl. Yeah, it's a good flick.
Cool.
I'd love to talk about it. What do we have any ideas of what we want to do next week?
I haven't. We'll have to talk.
For number 64.
You got any?
Or 65.
You got anything you want to do that jumps up?
Yeah, I mean, we have a whole list of stuff, but I mean, I picked this one.
I don't know. We'll think off camera here. Come up with something.
Anything else you want to mention? Anything else you want to talk about?
I've got my podcast that I started. I think we're gonna get it up on.
Oh yeah, it's up on the website by now.
Yeah, hopefully by now. Yeah. We haven't slacked that long.
No, for sure.
And got it up. So it's Attack of the Podcast. Is my main show that I'm doing it under, and then I've got like my friend Dorian is we're both big wrestling fans, and so he wants to do like a wrestling podcast. So we're calling it Rumble Talk. That's going to be like underneath, like Attack of the Podcast, and like Rumble Talk episodes will be about wrestling, and then I'll have the main show, and then I'm going to rotate different people in and out. It's like if you want to come on and.
I want to talk about what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and talk about. What were we talking about earlier? I don't remember.
No, that's fine. It's a secret.
That was a full podcast ago. I don't remember. I don't remember that far back now. But different stuff like that. So that'll be up.
Different media, movies, video games. All that stuff.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, we can totally do that. That'll be fun.
It's a whole bunch
so you can look for
stuff.
that. We're trying to get more content available just for people in general. So it'll be up on PantheonNetwork.com as well as YouTube.
Yeah.
Subscribe. I've got like 14 subscribers.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so PantheonNetwork.com. Check out the marketplace. Check out the t-shirts, mugs. Everything you need is on there. There's archived audio episodes of Shut Up I Like This. Most of our DCEU month or all of it was audio. Episodes like Hellraiser, stuff like that, still audio. It's all on the website, along with all our video episodes, everything's on there.
Good stuff in there.
PantheonNetwork.com. You can also find Indie Gamer Magazine on there. New issue just came out February 1st, so check that out. Issues are only $4.99 digital or $10 for a print.
The prints are really cool. Like, I definitely...
You're just biased.
Well, no, well, a little bit, but they actually are really cool. Like, they're I was impressed that they're high quality.
Yeah,
is what they are. They're not cheap. Like, you're not getting...
It's not like...
You're not getting this stapled together
right.
and with crayon with it. Like, it's like a legitimate, tangible magazine.
It's thick. It's thicker than a magazine. It's really good, high-quality paper.
With like
ink
the glossy,
doesn't bleed through.
the glossy print on the covers and stuff.
It's perfect bound. So no saddle stitching, none of that.
Yeah.
Nice, perfect glue, and it's out there. Buy it. Subscribe.
I think it's super cool.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it. Of course, we'll be back next Monday, as per usual. And who knows what we'll be talking about? I'll throw up. We'll figure something out. Throw it up there.
Yep.
So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for listening. This is what Shut Up I Like This from the Pantheon Network Studios, and we'll see you next week.